The bat, we're looking at the bans right here, targeting mostly the junglers for the side because and better. A lot of respect over to Hades. You give an assassin over to Hades, he's gonna pop off like crazy.
Yeah, I think you have to consider the fact that when you ban away all of these heroes, and I think Bigatron Beta is focusing a lot on watching NIP Flash game. We saw, members of them explain that they caught some of the games, but I feel it's too much of a gamble. There's just too much out there, right? You have your Julians, you have your Harris, Zaz is still in the picture.
Yep.
There's just so much options, and not to forget Ling. So I think NIP Flash, both NIP Flash and Bigatron Beta, have lots and lots to consider heading into the first half of the draft.
And I suppose on top of that, there is also the Loyi, who would always be kind of the X factor, right? If suddenly NIP Flash wants to put it out of the bag, that there could be a possibility. Harith is the third ban for NIP Flash, and Ling instantly snatched by Bigatron Beta.
Yeah, taking that Ling away, I think it's something that we've seen in this particular patch. Sky Piercer is really strong. You let the Ling just fly around, do assassinations. He's going to pop off a lot of with a lot of damage on top of, the 100% crit chance that you always get with Berserker's Fury and Heart's Claws as well. But this also means that, right now NIP Flash get two prior picks, right? Zask is open. Technically speaking, you've also got, the Roger that's also wide open. That does have the potential fighting chance against an assassin like Ling.
What about Terisla, Ares? Terisla is open. We talk a bit.
I
we talked a bit about the
I feel like
infected.
Terisla is kind of NIP's Flash kryptonite at this point, and it's not like they can't face against it. They shouldn't be playing it after seeing Adam's performance on this Terisla. But he is still a really, really good EXP laner, so I think there is the Cho that can be considered, but he's kind of more of like just before the second phase pick. But we spoke a lot about the Zaz. The Zaz will come out like that. Jace mentioned the Roger. I think this is pretty valid response to the Link pick coming out for NIP Flash.
It's kind of like a double flex, right? Theoretically, a double flex for the side of NIP Flash. Faramis, we saw it on Suelo just now on RBL. You just so much potential from early to mid, and the NetherRealm adds an extra layer of life. They even get themselves the Ruby, take it away from NIP Flash.
Yeah, and this opens up a Valentina pick. This is where Valentina can shine for NIP Flash. We know Cortese plays a mean Valentina. It's one of his signature heroes, and it's kind of like a buffet for Bigatron on Bigatron Beta's side. Like, if I'm NIP Flash, I look at the farmings, that's the call order. I look at the Ruby, that's the hook. I think the Valentina is a no-brainer.
I think Valentina is great right here, right? This Solve, NIP Flash has selected two heroes that could be flexed almost immediately. You can bring the Zask all the way to the gold lane. The Roger could potentially go into the jungle as well. So yeah, I think right now, Bigatron Beta, I think they dropped the guard just a little bit. Hey, you pick a Zask, maybe there could be no Valentina. So yeah, NIP Flash, I love how they're navigating around this draft so far.
But we'll have to see, because we rarely see Hades on this Roger, so they might just put the Roger into the gold lane. But, well, that being said, they want the Julian, so we won't see a Valentina just yet. In fact, we might not even see it, because now it seems more probable that this Zaz is going to go in the mid. Yeah. So the Roger's going to go in the gold lane. So let's have a little bit of a recap, right? I think both sides now, their draft look very, very solid. Bigatron Beta looking for those team fights and the team engagements, because they have that Faramis as well as the Ruby, and to top it off, a lane to die for the back line.
I think this is something we also established in the earlier series between NIP Flash and RSG PH, where overall NIP Flash as a team, regardless blue or red side, if the first three picks calls for urgency for the jungler, Hades' heroes gets taken into the pool, right? When you look at the bans, if people start banning out assassins, Hades becomes a priority. NIP Flash clamp down on the clot, start to eliminate the gold laners for Bigatron Beta.
There's not a lot of gold laners left, right? If you no Harith, no Clot, you also see there's no more Scarf, right? I love how NIP Flash is starting to clench down, making sure that Al gets a great game, especially when you pick something like maybe a carry, which, the Roger can easily just overwhelm with sheer amount of damage in the level 1 because Roger pops up so early. Al's gonna have a good game this one.
What about Lunox Go? We've seen it a couple of times.
Yeah, I think Lunox Go is still probable. The question is, if they pick the Lunox, then who's gonna go into the EXP lane? Because you kind of need that frontline balance to actually soak up the damage from the back. And Lunox is one of those bursty mages. The issue with Lunox, if they do pick it in the gold lane for Bigatron Beta, is the lack of the sustained damage as compared to NIP Flash.
Either Ruby XP or you take an export. Well, export is banned out, so
perfect.
Too bad.
Because NIP's Flash at this point, they have mobility, and that is going to be difficult for Bigatron Battle to fight into, right? Because you've got Julian, who's going to spike way harder than Ling at level 3. You know, you've got Roger in the goal lane, which is super hard to catch. So I think this is where NIP Flash can look to shine. Whereas for the side of Bigatron Battle, they just have to be slightly wary of how PSG, or rather how RSG PH actually fell prey to that. But the EDF comes in.
Still a flex, right? Still a potential flex for NIP Flash. They really are kind of teasing Bigatron Beta and not giving the full answer to their opponents.
I love it. I love how NIP Flash is drafting. I've been commenting from the first 2 picks, and now with the Julian pick, and then with the Edith. Pure flexibility right now. Bigatron Beta is just drafting it blind, even though we've already saw 4 heroes selected. Now they're going to go for something more stable. This is something more reminiscent back into the Ube style with, you know, you got somebody to support from the back line with the Faramis, and then after that you pack something with massive wave clear with the Beatrix.
I think the best part is that NIP Flash gets to see the full draft before they decide where the Edith goes. You see the Grok right now, which can be a detriment to Edith. Pretty annoying, hard to control. You can put that Edith into the XP and maybe get another roamer for NIP Flash.
I wouldn't be surprised if we actually do see a Cho here, because a Cho looks really, really good, especially if you manage to get either the Beatrix or the Faramis. I'm thinking more of a Grok roam and a Ruby EXP, so you don't really have to worry too much about the Ruby in the early game. It's more of the Grok. And I think, you know, as a Cho, you can really just get into the back line, you know, kick one of those members out. Now the question is, will NIP Flash go for that? Because at this point, the draft is looking kind of squishy if you think about it. You really only have Edith in the front line.
Yeah, it's like, what does JPL want, right? Like, and Adamir willing to play the Edith. He did play it once earlier against RSG Philippines, so I see it's JPL's call. Final pick coming up for NIP Flash, Lolita. Completely sort of forgotten, but not that shabby against a Beatrix, Jace. Last words.
I think it's great. The Lolita serves exactly what you need, right? Julian does have a little bit of problem getting close into popping off all his ultimates and wombo combo. You need somebody to slow it down first, and then the Julian goes into re-engage. There's also the tertiary engage coming out from Edith. I kind of like it, but I think if JPL is comfortable with, you can go for it.
It could go either ways. I think Lolita, like you said, it's really good against the Beatrix, but on the other flip side, you are only good against the Beatrix. So I think that there is a bit of a risk factor there. But to offer a bit of a peace offering, she can knock Ling off the wall. So that could be something they're looking at as well. I don't think it'll be happening that much throughout the entirety of the game, but I think for NIP Flash, they were just looking more coverage as compared to Edith, which we mentioned about. You can't expect an Edith to soak up all that damage, so I think that's where Lolita comes in to provide that sustain.
Only one way to find out. Game 1 between Bigatron Beta and NIP Flash happening in just a little bit as we load onto the land of Dawn. Thank you very much, Jace. We'll take over from here. It's going to be interesting. Stakes are high, Aries. NIP Flash looking to put themselves in contention for top 3 and a chance at playoffs, while Bigatron Beta fighting for tournament lives.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough one. I think for either one of these sides. Obviously, NIP Flash still looking for the momentum after that big win against RGPH. Bigatron Battle on the other side, so far losses across the board. And we heard in the pre-interview, NIP Flash, they don't really want to give Bigatron Battle their first win just yet.
It's going to be quite a challenge overall, because for NIP Flash, we have this Cortese, this Zast mid overall. And we talk about rotations, right? Faramis, you can move around, you can move with the Grok, but NIP Flash don't really need to worry too much about escorting this Zask around.
I look at the Grok's emblem at this point, right? You got the Wither's Blessing. So I think this is where Bigatron Beta want to bring the Grok into a lot of rotations, so that, you know, you do have that impact early game. And Nuxu, you can see he's just taking a ton of damage. That's what Zaz brings to the table in the early stages when he gets its outpoke. So I think NIP Flash, they will be looking to give Owl the space to farm. This is super, super important to them. And I think for Bigatron Beta on the other side, they need to buy time for this link to kind of skill up as compared to Julian, who's played by Hades, who doesn't really need much to come online.
Yeah, and I'm enjoying JPL, but top side, as a catch, Marzi will be forced to flicker away. Information gathered, right? They see Lynch on the top side as well. JPL, again, mirroring the movement of this link, making sure that NIP Flash keeps track of where he is.
Yeah, unfortunate thing for Faramis, I think they really want to hold that EXP minion so that both the Ruby as well as the Faramis hits the level 4. This is where Bigatron Beta can look to take their first fight, because that's what you want in Faramis. If he doesn't really have that out for the first total fight, you know, you're going to be on the back foot. But NIP Flash, because they can rotate earlier, because the Julian comes online earlier, they're just going to secure the first total.
Very simple, very straightforward for NIP Flash. And conditions for the Julian as well. If you give him like 2 out of 3 turtles, NIP Flash are going to be in a more comfortable position. And JPL, so far, doing his due diligence. And I'm surprised that, you know, even the Grok on BTRB side is struggling to kind of keep up with the movement.
Yeah, it's kind of expected, right? Now that you've got your first turtle, you're slightly ahead. Every single member on side NIP Flash has a shield, so if you really want to go for a fight here, it's risky. I think on the flip side, JPL, like you said, doing a good job of protecting that Roger. Speaking of Roger, he might just be under fire in his turret, but that is fine. You know, at the end of the day, NIP Flash, they've got our coward.
I feel like one of the ways to kind of really limit what the Fireman's Grok can do is just you mirror the movement, right? If you keep this Grok in check, and Xruzy also having a bit of problem because he's not able to move with the Grok. This mid lane just constantly cleared out by the Zask as well. Lynch shows up bottom side is Hades and Aldo. Tempest of Blaze, Banner's Rage, everything thrown at Hades. Lord of the Underworld gets first blooded, but Lynch once more is out on the chopping block. JPL arriving at the scene, but Al will be fine.
Yeah, you spoke about the importance of mirroring both the Grok as well as the Farmers. You gotta know where they are at all times, and immediately, oh, they pop it.
That's the Nether Realm. Xruzy trying to get away with the Cyclone. I guess out with the Shadow Stampede, but they will sacrifice Naxu. Luminal Blast connects.
Yeah, easy pickup from NIP Flash, but I think for Bigatron Beta, they wouldn't mind too much. You know, they came off fresh, getting a kill onto Hades, but JPL here, feeling kind of frisky.
It's just leading out into the charge. He turns into the Lycan Fawn to fight Pin. Pin throws for the dash, but Kratisi will be there regardless. Easy pickup.
Yeah, they tried. They tried to give Owl the kill there. It's really obvious, but Kratisi is like, that's too big of a risk. I gotta make sure the kill is secured. But on the flip side, I think NIP Flash just making most of their rotation down in bot. They lost Hades earlier, but good response by them to not only pick up Naxu, but get the farm in the pin. Honestly, all things considered, I don't really like the Beatrix pick here. It's very, very risky.
And that's the pull on the JPL. He has to flicker and dash away. Lynch goes for the chase, so JPL goes down first. And NIP Flash still wants to fight this though. The damage from Kratisi ramping up, and Primal Ref Adamir, Tempest of Blaze as a response. Adamir finds the kill, but still Hades gets the turtle. That's 3 for NIP Flash. Number 4 coming up out with the collection. Double kill for Adamir. NIP Flash finds a big fight.
Oh, this has to hurt for Bigatron Beta. After a good start fighting Gang of Hades, you know, they fell a little out of momentum, 2 heroes gone, and then they try to go for the turtle there, but I think they spent too much resource on trying to pick up JPL. Yes, you know, he is the roamer of the team, and it's just a roamer, but Lynch tried really deep, and speaking about deep,
and the Luminal Blast connects on the side. Hades even finds the kill for himself, and the Naxu Grot, that's how nice it should be. And I flashed 4k goalie, by the way, and they took the mid tier 1 down under 5 minutes.
And potentially, NIP could look for more. And I think Ruzi as well as Naxu, they sense that they will back off. But Marcy comes. I think this is just a lane swap. They know that this lane has already been lost because of the tier 1 turret. So it's immediately important that they get pinned to farm the side lanes. This is all about scaling for the side of Bigatron Beta. They need to get the scaling. But NIP Flash just putting a gem right to it. Look at this. 5 minutes and 30 seconds in, and they're already at 5.3k go up.
And all tier 1s down, right? Where's the side lane space for your Beatrix, right? Ling is in the enemy jungle, whereas NIP Flash goes for the invade. Adamir finds Ryuzi, but Bigatron Beta really don't have much resource to stop NIP Flash.
Yeah, I love this. I love this coming NIP Flash. They know they're ahead and they're bullying.
Adamir getting pulled under the turret. Lynch comes in for the flank. Adamir goes down first. Naxu will be traded back as Kratisi is just too strong.
I love this from NIP Flash, you know, just as I said before the fight happened. I think the importance here is they know they are up ahead, and even after they lost a couple of members there, they are still a solid 5k go up. Yeah, well, 4.8, but I'm just going to round it up. But NIP Flash, they know they are ahead in terms of resource and EXP, and they're pushing that advantage. And I think that's something that's really wise to do. When you're ahead, you want to make sure you close the game out early, especially when you have a Roger, you have a Julian. These are heroes that you can abuse because of their movement.
The biggest snowball we've seen from NIP Flash overall, right? Just the macro movements, how you try to constrain Bigatron Beta's space. Turtle should not be a problem for NIP Flash unless Lynch somehow steals it, but Hades is a level ahead, so that's Tempest of Blaze forced out. Lynch has to run, but Hadamir, he's making sure that Naxu doesn't do anything more than that. Ao showing up from the side. No angle for Lycan Pulsar. He's gonna try anyway, takes the wild charge in the face, but he's outside the turret range. Kratisi kills off Lynch off screen as Marzi also goes down, so the tables have been flipped. Hades now has free reign of that bottom side. Where's Ruzi gonna go? JPL bonks him with the hammer. Hammer tanks out the turret a little bit, gets pulled under, goes down. Hades wants the kill, doesn't find it, but Curtisi will.
Yeah, missed on the sword, but Curtisi coming to sweep up. And I think Owl as well, what an absolutely insane amount of movement to escape the gank in the bot lane. You saw the Shadow Step coming, but because of the Thunderbelt, he got that defense in, and that allowed him to prolong his life.
The scaling the Thunderbelt provides, right? Extra
You want to
hybrid
get it early
defense.
game.
You want to get it very early, as
Yes,
early
sir.
as possible. That's what scaling means. Check the dictionary.
Yeah, and MP Flasher, it's kind of like a well-oiled machine at this point. They're just going to pressure top lane, clear out the lanes because Lord's coming out in less under a minute. You look at Owl, I spoke about his ability to scale and the fact that he's already completed both the Sky Piercer and the Endless Battle. This is his spike. This is his big moment. He can really start to go ham in terms of diving on the back line and just cleaning up the rest of the fight. And like I said, NIP Flash now, for the entirety of today, they have been trying to balance out the responsibility of carrying the game between Hades and Owl. And we see that once again. Hades 215, Owl 202. It's like the whole team is involved.
And Curtisi 504, Genius
Absolutely.
1, Glowing 1. He's a problem for the front line, right? Naksu walks up, loses 60% of his health to a small alien buff. Top tier 2 goes down.
It really, like, it sucks. I gotta admit that, right? Not for Naksu. You gotta build the Radiant Armor. You might even have to think of the Tino Shield because of both Hades and Curtisi. And on top of it all, there is still Owl that you have to deal with. So there's just so much damage burst, or rather burst and sustained damage coming out of NIP Flash. Naksu's having a rough game.
The amount of magic damage from NIP Flash, right? Especially Edith can be very deceiving before Primal Wrath. NIP Flash gets the first Lord, no problem. I mean, as clean as it can get. Feels like a rare sight. We say today is a breath of fresh air. NIP Flash continues to deliver.
Yeah, Owl here just gonna be farming up the mid game, and I think this is where we'll see. Will NIP Flash be able to make you the most out of this lot? Because yes, it's only a tier 1 lot, but there's still 2 outer turrets standing, one in the mid, one in the bot lane. So if they do manage their waves carefully, they should be able to put a bit of pressure on Bigatron better to deal with the lot on top, and then just balance the waves to take down the tier 2 and 3 in the mid and bottom.
I think they're just going to start clearing out the waves on both lanes, right? Since they do have one existing waves up top, Bigatron Beta, they're going to pull back. They know that this push is coming, but thankfully Lord is on the top side, so there are some rooms to protect the mid tier 2. At least they can try. NIP Flash, they're going to start taking up space. Adamir will get bot tier 2.
NIP Flash, this is like the calm before the storm, but I don't think Bigatron Beta will rush a fight here. I think they are experienced as a team to kind of understand that it's too risky. If they do take a team fight here and they do get wiped out, Flash can even potentially look to end the game. And you can see Bigatron Beta here, it's all about clearing the waves. We know that Flash might have an advantage, but let's clear out the waves. We're going to send Link to cut the mid. Maybe we'll lose a tier 3, but at least we stay alive and still have a hope in game 1.
Try to cut as much losses as possible. So Bigatron Beta have to give it up, no choice. The I'm offended misses for Marzi, but good attempt nonetheless. NIP Flash so far in the driver's seat from minute number 1.
Yeah, that's an interesting item pick up from Owl. He actually picked up the Demon Hunter Sword. We don't really see Demon Hunter Swords on Roger nowadays, but because there is a Grok and a Ruby, the Demon Hunter Sword is gonna be able to shred those HP, and it's also allowing him to farm even quicker. So that snowball hit that he already has is just gonna exponentially extend if Bigatron Beta doesn't really shut him down.
Alongside the Trinity build of the Thunderbelt and the Endless Battle, right? So a lot of true damage, a lot of durability at the same time. Sky Piercer as well, always ready to execute some hits. All outer tier turrets fallen. NIP Flash, 10k gold lead, 11 minutes in.
Yeah, Curtisi. We spoke a lot about Hades, Owl, JPL being the front line, but boy, Curtisi, what a game he's having. He's currently looking to really scale, and look at the amount of damage he's dealt with. At top of the leaderboard, Edith, I wouldn't say it's a surprise second place, but that gap, 34k damage dealt by Curtisi so far. I think this is why Zaz is so meta, so popular at this point in time. We spoke to Curtisi prior to the game. He said the first skills revamp was good, but hey, team fight!
Lich almost got bursted. Just like that, Conceal gets used by Bigatron Beta. They can't defend the turret though. Good pull into Banner's range, but at the end of the day, NIP Flash will not survive. At least Kratisi will go down. JPL also takes bullets to the face. That's a double kill going over the pin. Bigatron Beta defends their base.
Yeah, this might look bad for NIP Flash, and I think obviously we're going to give credit to Bigatron Beta. That was a really good defense here. But I think the priority for NIP Flash at that moment was to get the tier 3 in the mid. I think the mistake started when they tried to take the fight, or at least they didn't expect Natsu to go into wild charge just like that, and they got caught off guard. So it's mistakes like this that, you know, every now and then I look at NIP Flash and I go like, they look good, but, you know, there are still cracks in the armor that teams can look to exploit.
Yeah, I think one of the headlines coming into this is that both teams have shown promises, but crossing the finishing line was kind of the struggle that they faced, right? Who can kind of cut the ribbon at the end? NIP Flash ever so close. And this Lord contest might decide it. Oh, Bigatron Beta not willing to commit because NIP Flash are back. The Poodle into a flicker. Ow, getting caught out. He needs to get away, but the wild charge connection is good enough. Lynch takes the kill. Naksu will drop low. Enemy getting chased. Immortality will be popped. Hades trying to do work. The Beatrix under control, but the damage just not there. As Lynch finds the back line, Bigatron Beta strikes back. Marzi will be sacrificed. Hades minimizes damage, but Bigatron Beta finds more.
Yeah, NIP Flash, Bigatron Beta is not giving NIP Flash a way to just close the game out cleanly. Every single time when they think the game is done, and Bigatron Beta just pulls something out the back. And speaking about pull, it was actually Owl that was hooked by the Ruby earlier into the flicker. And once Owl goes down, I think NIP Flash was like, okay, let's do damage control. We'll see what we can get. So I think the kill on Naksu, Marzi, and Ryu was important.
And he gets
Boy,
bursted.
the burst.
The chain, right? The enhanced chain from Hades into Kratisi's damage. He's chasing Pin. What do you do? What do you do? Alien Boy is too strong. Double kill for him. And NIP Flash steals the Lord. And Owl.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, just calm down. This game pretty much in the bag.
Yeah, it's insane. Like the amount of damage, the burst damage that Zaz brings out late game, especially against a marksman and mage who don't build their Athenian shield and Radiant that early in the game, you can definitely see the impact. And as a Beatrix, what do? Your flickers on cooldown, even if you didn't get the Zaz, right? The minion that's left behind, pop the
Enemy
Q.
goes for the flick. Wild shots hits the back, try to break the tempo. Good 4-man pull, but the puller is already dead, and NIP Flash finds the first game. What a dominant start for the Singaporeans.
Clean. I think that was the story of the game. I think I'm overhyping up clean because at the end of the day, there were still moments where Bigatron Beta came in. And I think